going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about OTK Stardust Dragon. This deck is really fun. I've been running it recently. Here is our deck list. Now, we are missing one card, Called by the Grave, so in these replays you're about to see we run One Small World instead. Gonna get that second Called by the Grave soon, but the Small World's definitely a good placeholder if you don't have maybe Called by the Graves or any other of the spell cards in this. Lost World helps extend combos. Our boss monsters are Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, Shooting Kaiser Dragon, and Cosmic Blazer Dragon. These guys are an unstoppable force when paired together. It is a junk engine. Our main junk engine card is Junk Speeder, and you will see why. So let me hop into some of these replays. Now this deck is really good when it works, and I'd say it's about middle level consistency. It fails to hand traps. We do have some protection with Call by the Grave and Crossout, but if we don't draw into those, hand traps could tear this deck up. But when it works, it's almost unbeatable. Hopping into this first replay, I believe this one's from Ranked, and the second one we have is from the Duelist Cup. Whoops. Got a little bit of replay. I'm going to try to read out the combo as it goes to kind of give you a hint, but it is really fast, so give me a grain of salt. Where it gets to the equip deck, kind of cool, but no hand traps, so we go wild. We have a Junk Converter. We're going to send Junk Converter and a Tuner to the grave. This is going to let us search for a Junk Warrior, but more importantly, we get a Junk Converter to the graveyard. When Junk Warrior is summoned, we'll be able to pull that Junk Converter back from the grave, and with a 3 and a 2, we have our 5-star Synchro. Now, with no hand traps, this is going to go perfectly. If they had a hand trap, this is where they would be aiming. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, and level 5 Tuner from our deck, and get to play them all. Stardust will let us search Arrive in Light, which will be very important here soon. We do a 2-star and our Synchro to summon Power Tool. Power Tool will let us search a living fossil out, but really this is just to create space on our board. That's why we work our way up. Next, we'll use our Jet Synchron and our Power Tool to get Jet to grave for a later setup and to pull out Stardust Dragon, the namesake of the deck. After this happens, Arrive by Light will let our Converging Wills Dragon join the battlefield because we placed it there, and Brotar will join it. This gives us board set up to do a 5-star. We're going to go for the Bird. Once we have that space clear, Stardust Synchron from Grave will activate, sacrifice and quick draw. Monster from Grave lets Doppel Warrior come out, and we Synchro summon to summon our first boss monster using the 3. Majestic Star Dragon will drop. This protects us from this point forward in the chain if they do happen to draw. If you took the Max C challenge and they finally get their Ash, whatever it is, you are now safe. Doppler Token gives us 2. We'll use a Stardust and a 1 to make a Garden Rose. This is to pull Black Garden, and also to pull Jet Synchron from the grave. Those two make TGI Fridays Max Double Shaman. This will let us pull 1 monster from the grave. Normally we want to do a Power Converter, because that will be able to pull a monster from our grave later in this chain. This is our second boss monster, Shooting Kaiser Dragon. From here we can Living Fossil to bring that Shaman back. Synchro our 3 and 2 to summon another 5-star. When Blackwing is summoned, if there's one in the grave, we can special summon it back. 2 5-stars plus our 2-star Tuner will make our 3rd boss monster. This is how you get the ultimate board lockdown. Now, from this point, there's a lot of different things you can do. One of my favorite things to do, if you have access to that Assault that I just played, you can get out a 3-star. That'll end up being, I think, fodder. Stardust comes back from Garden Rose, and then that plus the 2-star make Baron. This is a 4-card board lock scenario. The opponent would have to play 4 pull cards from this point just to get that 5th card to activate. Each one of those could counter. You could also banish one of your birds from grave to summon a bird back if you just want to have 5 slots or 6 slots filled up. But that is pretty much the combo. When it works, it is almost impossible for your opponent to do anything about it. I would say almost impossible because there are a couple things that do counter this deck, as in Kaijus, sacrifices. Kaijus hurt a lot. Nibiru hurts. Like I said, hand traps when you don't have counterplay. All of this could set this chain up for failure very, very early. But when it's off, you're taking the dub. This one will show a little bit different. I kind of explained most of the combo as quickly as I could. I'll show where it deviates a little bit in this if it does. There's really like a cookie cutter way to get the most out. You see me do it often in the way I set up. If that doesn't go as planned, there's deviations. You can play with it. Other things you can get out at other points. What you're always searching for is a junk converter and a junk synchron. If you don't get those two, any combination of 3 and 2 with a tuner will work. Make it work. If you can't, obviously have the best. But that is what I found to be the best opener. However, you can search it out. The deck runs 3 tunings, reinforcement, all for this. Now, another thing that kind of gets you at first, it got me a couple times, is the time limit with your hand. With your play. This is a lot of synchro summoning. This could take a lot of time, especially if you don't know what you're doing or you're nervous on your activation timings. I really say just practice it a lot. If you run out of time a couple times, it's fine. Hopefully it's not in your cup rank matches and you don't rank down. But practice, slow the video down, rewind, watch exactly where things activate and where things don't. There are a couple things that could screw you up. Like when I synchro summoned the Stardust with a Jet Synchron, if I did that and activated Arrive by Light and Jet 2 as a chain 2, then it would have shuffled the deck and I wouldn't have gotten the Convergent Wills out. So I choose to just activate Arrive in Light and not the Jet. Just little things. You really just have to pay attention during the chains to get that exactly down. In this one, I think I blundered. Yeah, I blundered because I pulled the Doppler tokens out. So we're actually going to have to go for... No blunder. I lost myself in the chain. I didn't see where we were. Everything's looking good. This is TGI Double Max Shaman. Our favorite card that we just can't figure a good name out for. This is where the blunder came out, I remember. So Doppelganger instead of Power Converter is what I chose in the Shaman pool. That is a problem because when we use Assault Blackwing, if you use a Doppelganger to get the 2 tokens and the bird back, you won't have enough space to summon for your 3rd boss monster. You still got 2 boss monsters, not the end of the world, but not perfect. So let's see what we do in this scenario. Not only did we miss a 3rd boss monster, but he has a sacrifice. So we're now down to 1 boss monster left. Well, Monster Reborn's a problem because he wants to get our boss monster on his side. We can banish Shooting Majestic to get that effect off. Now normally we can banish our Assaultron and bring him back for a 2nd ability, but our monster spaces are full. So we're not able to do that. We'll just take the Brotar pull, because we know he's going to swing and kill the Brotar. That leaves us a space open for our monster to come back. In phase, our Shooting Majestic comes back, and we are able to practically win. Garden Rose could still be banished to bring Stardust back from my grave. He's got nothing in his hand that could bother us. Arrive in Light is going to let us draw another card. Always chain. Black Garden is great in this deck as well. If for some reason your combo doesn't go good, you can always hope for a pre-summon with some of your Synchrons, even if they're like Black Wings or Garden Rose. 1600 attack once a Black Garden is down is enough to beat 3Ks in their board if they're not set up to deal with it. does get one more turn, we're not able to catch lethal. He's going to sacrifice our third boss monster, but at this point, it is just too late. Even with dealing with the boss monsters, we have way too many cards on board, and a Blackguard shrinking everything he summons. Even if somehow you don't get your boss monsters out, or they have stuff to get rid of them, this deck is still consistent in having a backbone to push it through. I think we just go for the swing. Yeah, that's lethal. And that, my friends, is Stardust OTK. A lot of stuff